Hello friends, welcome back to Beer and Beauty. Today's beer of the day is a beer from Collective Arts Brewing Company, and you know about Collective Arts Brewing Company because their beer cans always have this super cool artwork. I recognize the artwork on this can right here. I believe it's from a street artist. I forget what her name is, but she does these kind of creepy little dolls. And sometimes they're wearing like little bunny costumes. Anyway, this is a beer called Radio the Mothership, and it's Imperial IPA, 8.5%. Let's give it a taste. Cheers. And it is delicious. It's like hearty. It's like very strong, and it's actually kind of a perfect beer for wintertime. And by the way, Merry Krampus! I'm shooting this on the eve of Christmas. Like, not Christmas Eve, but it's the 25th, it's nighttime, it's like 8 o'clock, and I'm shooting this declutter for you guys today. So, the reason we're here today is because I am decluttering all my foundation primers, all my face primers. And I thought that this was going to be a quick and easy little declutter, but as you will see when I zoom you into my smorgasbord of things to declutter, it's actually way more overwhelming than I thought it was. The reason being is I had all my primers in like different areas, and having them that way made me not realize how many I had altogether. So bringing them all together in this pile in front of me is a little funny. It's a little bit like, wow, that's a lot of primers. Crazy. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the declutter. And I suppose I'll count how many items I have in front of me first. 34. So yeah, I've got 34 primers. Yikes, that is way more than I thought. For some reason in my brain I thought I had like 15, but I have 34. A lot of them are minis, but I'd like to declutter 14 of them. So bring me down to 20. We'll see about that. Yeah, but without further ado, let's get into the declutter. Alright friends, so here are all of my primers. So putting them into this conglomeration, it really kind of opened up my eyes to how overwhelming the situation is, how necessary this declutter is. I actually realized throughout the course of my no-buy year that I was just not emptying out a lot of primers at all. And now that I've finally sat down to do this declutter, I realize why. Because I have so many. Even though I use a primer every single time I do my makeup, I just don't empty them out very often. I emptied out like maybe 3 mini primers throughout the course of the year, and 1 full-size primer. But without further ado, let's get into it. My favorite primer of all time is probably the Smashbox Primerizer, and I believe I have 2. So here's one. There's so many in front of me, I can't even see them all right in front of me. Oh my gosh, there's even more. I didn't bring out the backup that I have. Okay, let me go back and get that. Okay, found the other 2 primers that I had as like little backups, but here's my second primerizer. Because these are my favorite and they're both minis and I go through these pretty quickly, I'm gonna keep both of these. Another series of backups I have this Smashbox Photo Finish primer. I actually use this a lot, but I go through it very slowly because every time I use it, I just use it the tiniest bit. And I have a backup of it that I bought this time last year. I still haven't opened it because, well, I've learned this year not to buy backups ever again. But I think for now, I am going to keep the regular Photo Finish. And I was kicking this little mini around this whole time because I thought I was going to get to it this year, but I haven't. So, and it's got a really long shelf life. It's got a 2-year shelf life. So I think I'm going to keep this one, try to pan it. This I'm going to put in the maybe pile for now. Another thing that's in my project pan is this Benefit Professional primer. It's just like a silicone-based primer. Used to be a cult classic, still pretty awesome. I'm going to hold on to it until I move. And right before I move, I might try to shoot a project pan finale video. And if it's hopefully maybe I'll pan it by then. I'll empty it all out and then I'll get my money's worth out of this product. But if I don't, I will declutter by that time because This is more or less like empty. Like I've used a good portion of this stuff. So this is actually, I'm going to put in the declutter pile. This item, the Hourglass Veil Primer, is just like a little deluxe size sample from Sephora. It's almost empty. I don't know if you can tell. But I think I'm going to hold on to that just because it's like, it would be silly for me to try to give it to somebody because it's so small and it's like, it's got like 2 or 3 uses left in it. So I'm going to keep that and I'm going to try to pan it. Item I've been trying to pan all year long, but I just can't. I got this in an Ipsy pack. This is the Smashbox Photo Finish Radiance Primer. I'm just not getting this used up fast enough. And I don't know how much product I still have left in here. Definitely a good like 5 more uses. I might put this in the declutter pile. I'm just like, I can't get this used up fast enough. A primer that I was pretty interested in trying, but I realized that it's very similar to the Smashbox Photo Finish is the Tarte Poreless Primer. Used this a handful of times and it's still mostly full, even though it's a mini. This I think I will put in a declutter pile. My curiosity has been quenched for this product. This product I'm going to hold on to. This is the Benefit the Professional Matte Rescue Primer. It's their matte formula. I keep this in my makeup kit for my oily clients. So this is a primer that controls oil and it does a pretty good job. So I'm going to hold on to that one. I actually panned one of these earlier this year. This is a mini like sample size that I got as gratis at Sephora back when I used to work there. Of the Becca Backlight Priming Filter. I think out of this one, this is a mostly full little vials, and I do actually really love this as a radiance primer. It's one of the better ones on the market, so I'm gonna hold on to that. I'm gonna put my little beer right here. No, that's gonna like be a problem. I'm gonna put it back here. This is a product I got in a BoxyCharm this year, and it's actually a really nice pore filling primer. It's like not overly drying. It's not really too pilling. It's a much finer formula than Smashbox Photo Finish as like a pore filling primer. So I think I'd like to keep that one. I really like that one. This one is another like it's like a mini of the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer, and I used it once at the beginning of the year, even though it's this cult classic primer that like everybody loves. I have so many primers that it just kind of gets lost. It gets forgotten about. So I think I'd like to keep this, try to get a little bit more use out of it in the new year. It's just a shame that I haven't gotten a chance to use it. Here's another kit essential. This is the Smashbox Redness Reducing Primer. I keep it in my kit for people who have a good amount of redness and need a little bit of color correcting. I am going to keep that for that purpose. It is one of my only primers that does that, and it does a good job of that, so I'm going to hold on to that one. You know what? I thought for sure I was going to keep this primer. This used to be my very #1 favorite primer. It was the primer that I put on every single one of my clients. But the truth is, like I panned this completely. I used up one of these already all the way completely. I don't know, man. Ever since I got this one, I haven't reached for it nearly as much, probably because I have this amazing primer. I don't know, I just usually use, like my favorite primer to use on clients and myself is this one. So I think I'm gonna put this in the maybe pile for now. Because now that I'm considering all the primers that I have in my repertoire in front of me, I actually don't have that many that are like this. So I'm gonna put this in the maybe pile for now. One I'm absolutely ready to part with is this Cover FX Blurring Primer. It's just one that I never ever reach for. So that's definitely gonna go in the declutter pile. Here's another one that is a really nice primer, but it's like mostly full. It's just one that I never reach for just because I just usually am not interested in the benefits it's offering. Like it's just like a blurring primer. It smells nice. It feels kind of nice. It's like a pore filling primer, but yeah, this is the Urban Decay Optical Illusion Primer, and I think I'm going to put that into declutter pile because I do not find myself reaching for this one that often. I'm kind of like a fan of moisturizing primers all in general. I definitely feel like I could pan all 3 of these. I've got the Makeup Forever Step 1 Moisture Hydrating Base Primer, the Base Tape Hydrating Primer from Tarte, and the Embryolisse Crème Concentrée like primer. Like it's like a French moisturizing primer, and yeah, I feel like I could pan all 3 of these, so these 3 I'm gonna keep. Here's another moisturizing primer that I just opened up not long ago at all. As you can see, it's kind of been, you can kind of tell that it's only been used like once or twice. I haven't made my mind about this yet, but I've heard nothing but good things, so I kind of want to pan this little mini of the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream. It's like a moisturizer, but it's also meant to be kind of like a hydrating primer base, so that one I'm gonna keep. Mostly things are being kept. What can I declutter? This is very hard. I don't think I'm gonna declutter much, honestly. But I think I can declutter this. This is the NYX Honey Do Me Up primer. It's actually really nice. It's supposed to be kind of like a dupe of the Yves Saint Laurent Touche Éclat primer. It's got like gold flakes and honey in it. Nice little illuminating primer, but as you can see, I have way too many primers and I need to declutter some pretty badly. So that's one I'm gonna declutter. I actually haven't even opened this. I got this as like free PR from Kat Von D during IMATS, not last year, but the year before, and I still haven't even opened it. But I am interested in trying it just to see it, even though I'm not gonna buy it from Kat Von D and I'm not gonna recommend it to you guys, but I feel like I've heard that there's like lots of uses for this product, so I wanted to at least give it a shot, so I'm gonna hold on to that one. I don't know if I'm gonna declutter anything else. Ooh, interesting. I just don't even know what to do. Alright guys, admittedly I think I'm not gonna declutter much else. There's a couple things I still might get declutter, but first I have 2 shades of the MAC Strobe Cream primers. They're both illuminating primers. This one's like the Peach Light one, I think. Yeah, this one's called Peach Light. That's the bigger one. I got a full size of it. Oh, there's so much in here. And this one's called Pink Light. So this one of them is more of a peachy base. One of them is more of a pink base. I think I'm going to put these in the maybe pile and decide about whether or not I'd like to keep them. I use them, but not that often, admittedly, because I just have way too many primers. So yeah, I'm going to put those in the maybe pile for now. These 2 primers I got in BoxyCharms this year. This is the Water Beauty Glow Ahead Illuminating Face Oil, and this is the No Problem Prime Essence. I used them a handful of times this year since I got them, but neither one did I use enough to get a sense of whether or not I like them. So I think I'd like to keep both of them just to use them a little bit more and make more of an opinion about them, you know what I mean? So I am going to keep both of these. This is strangely still a pretty full can. This is the Your Skin Air Flash CC Primer. It's a primer that you're supposed to use with their Air Flash foundation, of which I have a couple shades. I'm really surprised that I didn't use these up this year. Mostly I think I didn't use them up is because I am scared to reach for them because they're so expensive. But I should make a point to use these up. I don't know how long they're supposed to last, but this still feels like a mostly full can. So I'm going to keep them in conjunction, in order to use them in conjunction with those Air Flash foundations, because I still have some full ones, so I'd like to hold on to that. This is a Beauty Bakery sample of priming face oil. I still haven't opened it. It's brand new. I am interested in trying it out. It's a cute little bottle, actually. And I think I'm going to hold on to it just because I am still interested in trying it. We'll see about that. Yeah, I still really want to try this one, so I'm going to hold on to that. I've barely used this Farcelli Rose Gold Elixir Oil, even though, like, the few times I used it, I thought it was kind of nice. But I'm glad that I didn't ended up buying the full-size one, because I barely reached for this even little mini, and the mini packaging isn't so small that I like forget that it's there. I still see it sometimes. I still don't use it very often. So, man, what am I gonna do? But I'm gonna hold on to that one. All right. Next up, something I think I can for sure declutter is this Temp 2 face primer. It came free with my Temp 2 foundation, airbrush foundation kit. I feel like I should keep it just to go with my Temp 2 foundations, but the truth is whenever I do use those foundations, I generally use a different primer. I never use this one, so I have no problem with decluttering that one. Getting down low, just a handful more here. I wanted to use this one a lot more this year just because it is very much comparable to this Smashbox primer. As you can see, the packaging looks the same. It's definitely a dupe. This is the Japanese Japanesque Velvet Touch Primer. Performs similarly. Actually, I feel like this one's actually a little bit better, but I think I would rather keep this one than this one. And that way I can give away an unopened product to a friend. So I'm going to move this backup of the Photo Finish Primer into the declutter pile, and I'm going to put the Velvet Touch into the keep pile. These two, Becca Velvet Blurring Primer and the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Primer. They're both kind of like blurring primers, like not blurring, but also mattifying primers. And I don't really have a huge use for mattifying skin, but at the same time, I often have clients who do, and I feel like this is gonna be used up pretty quickly, so I think I'd like to keep both of these just because I'd like to try them out a little bit more and possibly use them for those clients too. So I'm going to keep both of these. So this is from a brand that no longer exists. This is from the Estee Edit. This is a piece of Sephora gratis I had. Don't know if this was ever even used. This seems like to be a mostly full primer. It's a illuminating primer. I've never really reached for it, and I'd like to keep it. But the truth is, my keep pile's too big, so I have to part with this. It's just a shame because I'd like to at least try it, but I'm keeping so much, so I have to declutter something, so this I'm going to declutter. Same with this. This is another item that I got in my Sephora gratis. It's one that I've never really even opened. It's like a NARS Smooth and Protect Primer Broad Spectrum 50 SPF. It's pretty cool that it's got 50 SPF. I haven't even tried this. I'm probably going to list this on my Poshmark, seeing as it's something that hasn't even been open, and if it doesn't sell before I move, I might try it out, but for now I'm going to put this in the declutter pile. The last item is actually a primer that I love. It's the NYX Angel Veil Primer, and it's a skin perfecting primer. It's got this really interesting like mineral-y texture. Some people have said it's kind of a bit like a dupe of the Hourglass Veil primer. And they both have veil in the name. I am going to declutter it. Even though I really like this primer, I just need to make more room in my collection. I need to declutter more things. So I'm going to declutter this one. So we got 11 things in the declutter pile. I've got 11 primers. Most of them are smaller. Well, actually, most of them are full size. There's only a few like smaller sized ones. I think I can move my Makeup Forever into the declutter pile. And I think we're gonna switch out this declutter for this declutter just because this one's newer. So I'm interested in seeing if this is gonna feel different. So I'm gonna hold on to this one. I'm gonna switch out this one for the declutter pile. And I don't think I'm ready to declutter either one of these. I feel like they might come in handy in cinema makeup school, so I'd like to keep both of those. Those I'm taking out of the maybe pile, putting them back in. And I think this is where we're gonna have to leave it. So this is what I'm gonna be decluttering. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's actually more primers than I feel even comfortable parting with, but I had to do something because I'm gonna show you right now all the primers I'm planning on keeping. So it's still kind of a lot. Many of these items I feel like I could use up in 2020. I pretty much like everything that's here except a few kind of little minis I haven't really even tried. Like these 3 little guys I haven't really even tried. A lot of these guys, well, this one I haven't really even tried. I need to use this more. I need to use these more. This I can use up. 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 These I'll probably use up. And I'll probably use up this. And I might use up this. And this I'll probably use up. And this I'll probably use up. That leaves a few items here that might be a little bit harder to use up. But yeah, here is my primer collection. This is what I'm planning on keeping. How many items is that? There's 24 items here. That's still too many, but I think I might have to just do another declutter in like 4 months or so after I get a little bit of use out of these and get a better sense of what I'm liable to use, and then maybe I can declutter the things that I don't think I will use. So for now I'm gonna keep all these, and yeah, that is it. So that is it, friends. That is my primer declutter, my foundation primer declutter. It wasn't the most cutthroat thing in the world because I think out of the things I tried to use up this year and try to get good use out of this year, I kind of put primers in the back burner. I wasn't thinking about those things very much at all. I thought this video was actually going to be a lot faster than it was, and I thought I had less primers than I did, but this was very eye-opening, and it definitely has encouraged me to be a little bit more conscious, a little bit more mindful about my little primer collection. So I think I will be more conscious and mindful of that. You can expect another primer declutter probably at some point in like April or May, maybe June. I don't know. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, that's going to be a busy wedding season, but we'll see. I thought it was enlightening. I was definitely feel like it was worth it, and I hope you thought that it was interesting. If you enjoy watching declutter videos, I am in the middle of a big declutter series. I'm going to be doing a big lipstick declutter coming up. I just did an eyeshadow palette declutter. If you like declutter videos, definitely hit the bell to catch more. If you like collection videos, I recently posted a professional freelance makeup kit video. And I think that one's pretty informative and cool. So if you're interested in checking that out, I do recommend it. And I think that is it, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I really enjoyed hanging out with you. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me. And until next time, cheers. Bye!